I want to rant a little bit this morning because I read something the other day about goals that kind of bothered me, I guess, a little bit. There's actually a trend. I don't know. There were some articles written years ago, and maybe I'm just now discovering it. But there's some people online saying goals are bad, goals are dumb, goals are for losers. There's seriously a blog with the name Goals Are for Losers. Scott Adams, creator of Dilbert, first wrote a blog years ago. I think he was one of the first to say, goals are out, systems and habits are in. System and habits are important, goals are not. So he's all about systems and habits and not setting goals. And there's a bunch of other people that have followed suit, kind of supporting the idea that you don't need goals. Goals are dumb. You need systems and habits because that's where the action is. Okay, so at first I thought, well, that's interesting. I'm an open-minded person, and even though I use goals and I have a goal-setting system, I wanted to hear what they had to say. So I read the articles. I read several blogs, and I read their claims. And here's what I got out of them. The biggest things, from what I can remember, there was a lot, but they identified several things that they said were bad for goal setting. When you set goals, it's bad because you're living in the future. For one of the things was, your goal is way out in the future. You're not living in the present. And number two is you'll always be disappointed because you're always looking for a prize that's down the road. And number three, you're not enjoying the journey. And number four, I can't remember. A bunch of different things that we're talking about how goals, I guess, are bad. And it made me stop and think, okay, let's insert a little common sense into the equation right now. Okay, most every successful person I've heard supports the idea of setting goals. In fact, a lot of them speak about and endorse the idea of setting goals and have done so for many, many years. Secondly, the idea of setting goals is not new. It's been around for, I guess hundreds of years, since, I don't know, whenever it was first invented, the idea, but it's not like it's a fad. You know what I mean? It's not like it's this kind of thing that we tried for a while and it came and left. It's like people have been setting goals for a while now. I think there's pretty substantial evidence that goal setting is not dumb or stupid or for losers. Just saying. So a little common sense led me to read everything with a grain of salt. And what I took away was this. Okay, so goals are not bad. Goals are not stupid. Goals are what they are. Okay? Yes, you have to be smart when you set your goals. You have to be careful when you set your goals. You have to be strategic. You don't want to just create goals to create goals. You want to have wins along the way. You want to reward yourself along the way. You want to enjoy the journey along the way. Some of these blogs or posts that I read were so extreme. It's like everything is there and there's no this. And I'm like, well, it doesn't have to be that way. I'm sorry, that's how it is for you when you set your goals. But for the rest of us who do it the way that we should, it's actually quite effective. But the claim about the whole systems and habits thing, let's talk about that for a minute, because I found some substance in there, and I found some nuggets that I really want to play up, because systems and habits are extremely important. I do not want to diminish that fact. Systems and habits are critical to support your goals. In fact, I think your systems and your habits could easily be the foundation that you build on. You set goals and you go after them. Well, your foundation are your systems and habits. What do you do every day? And that's why on the 3x5 goal cards, you've got the daily to-do lists on one side that has all the stuff that you're doing today, because everything, or the things you do on a daily basis, matter, and they add up to big things down the road. So systems and habits, those are the things that you do so often that they just become second nature, like brushing your teeth. Okay, that's a good habit that creates good hygiene. You do it every day. Hopefully you don't have to think about it. You don't have to remember. It's bedtime. Your mind goes into that mode. Here's a few things that I have to do. Brushing your teeth is on that list. You just go and brush your teeth, and you don't have to remind yourself, okay? It becomes a habit. Well, trying to get that to become a habit for my kids, but apparently it's not that easy for all of us. So, side topic, sorry. Anyways, the habits that pertain to your success work just the same. You know, do you get up and meditate? Do you get up and exercise? Do you what do you do? How do you spend your time when you have 5 extra minutes? Is your brain pre-programmed and pre-wired to go to a TV and watch the news, or do you go to a podcast and learn something new, or do you go to a book? You know, that's a system, a mind system, a way of thinking. Okay, I called it your default in the past, in other sessions. But a habit is an action item. It's something physically that you do. So what do you do every day? How do you start your day? What habits are you blogging every day? If you set aside a schedule, a routine, and you're doing stuff in that routine every single day, and a lot of times it's the same stuff at the same time. You're following, at 5 o'clock I wake up, at 5:30 I exercise, at 6 o'clock I do this, at 6, et cetera, et cetera. Those are the habits that are going to establish the foundation for your success, okay? And I think that's the point that I do want to give credence to, or credibility to, for these blogs that I've read about how goals are bad and habits are good. Well, they got half of that equation right. Habits are good. Systems are good, absolutely. But goals are also good. There's no reason why goals can't be good and habits can be good. In fact, good habits support good goals. They go hand in hand. I don't know why you would discount one and in favor of the other. It doesn't make sense to me. But at any rate, habits and patterns or systems are definitely something that are worth taking a look at in your life. I have another episode where I talk about automating your life. You should look that up, because I'm a big believer in taking the guesswork out of the stuff you already know you're supposed to be doing. So if you take some time and establish your life and set up some parameters, you make decisions once, you don't have to keep making over and over again, okay? So in other words, when you have an extra half an hour in your day and you're sitting down, you don't have to say, what should I do with this half an hour? You've already decided, okay? So if you can set up systems and processes and habits in your life that automate the decision-making process for you, you don't have to continually make a new commitment to yourself to stay on track for your goals. The commitment's been made, you've already set it up, you just have to follow your existing system. So habits, absolutely. How long does it take to make a habit? I think there's a lot of myth out there. 3 weeks, 21 days, that's the same thing. 7 days I've heard one that's like 66 days, some weird number like that. 100 days, I've heard 90 days. What are the ones that you've heard? It's all over the place, and I don't think any of them are true. I don't think there's any substance to those claims. I think they are a headline, and it makes you want to commit, 7 days to form a habit. Well, it makes people want to read. I guess there's some sizzle there or something. So I think a habit is formed, or can be formed, in a short period of time, or it could take a long period of time to form a habit. To get me to carry these around on a regular basis, for some strange reason, that took me a long time. In fact, there's still days where I rush out the door and they're left on my dresser. Not very often, but in the early days of doing the 3x5 goal setting system, I would forget all the time, and it frustrated me because I kept thinking to myself, I really want to do this, and I've got to stop leaving them. I have to carry them around with me, because I can't get in touch with my goals and review my to-do list and remember everything I'm supposed to do today that I planned last night if I don't bring it with me. So it took me a long time to get that habit down. I don't know why. Many months. And it wasn't a quick, easy thing. For some people, I'm sure they could pick up and just go, boom, starting tomorrow, and they'd never miss a day. There's really no rhyme or reason that I know of, or have been able to figure out, that explains it. I think it's partly the way our brains are pre-wired. Some of us have an easier disposition to do certain things than others. For years, I knew I should be flossing, and I was not good at flossing. I'd floss occasionally, but I wasn't a regular flosser until there was this seminar where I was at, and I can't even remember what the point was that he made, but he separated the room by those who floss daily and those who don't. It was just it was a funny, off-the-wall thing. It really had no rhyme or reason, but there was something there that stuck, and it made me think, gosh, I'm not a daily flosser, and I need to be. And so one day, out of the blue, I just decided, I was brushing my teeth, and I finished, and I said, from now on, I'm just going to start flossing. And I did. And every day I floss at night before going to bed. And it wasn't anything I planned. It wasn't anything that I had to really work toward. I had always known it was something that I should be doing better at. And it was like one day I just made a decision. I said, okay, I'm just going to start flossing every day. And I did. It takes an extra couple of minutes. I like to rush through and, get to things, but, sometimes you have to slow down and get things done. So there was just no rhyme or reason. There's no way for me to explain it. And the same, I think, you might find true in your life if you look at the way habits form and things just pop up and start appearing in your life or disappearing in your life as habits fall out of your routine and out of your life. So I don't know if we should spend so much time worrying about 21 days or 30. I'm sure there's some credibility to the idea that the longer you do something over and over, the more likely it is to stick. We can probably all agree on that one common point. But is it 21 days, is it 100 days, is it 2 days, is it 20, I don't really think there's any scientific evidence to support any one thing. So yes, habits, absolutely. I wish I could explain how a habit, I'm doing some research, and I'm sure I'll have some videos more about habits, because I'm reading a book on habits. It's really good. But the psychology behind habits. But for now, just if you've got something you're trying to form a habit, just start doing it. Put it down, put reminders, ask somebody to help you remember, and start doing it every day until it sticks. And if it's important enough to you, and if you really internalize it, I think it'll stick sooner. If it matters a lot to you, it will stick sooner. And you can integrate it into your morning routine. You can set up reminders. You can interrupt yourself, put notes and things along your path where you know you're going to be, bathroom mirror, on your cell phone, maybe in your social media feed, somewhere where you know you're going to be. You can put reminders there so that you interrupt your own self along your day and help you remember. But habits and systems and processes, all good stuff, certainly not at the expense of goals. Goals, after reading and studying all these things, I maintain that goals are important. You just have to be doing them the right way. And anybody who's talking about goals as being something that we don't need, goals are for losers, goals are the old school way of doing things, I just think they haven't been doing it the right way. And if you come across any of that kind of thinking, I encourage you to try out the 3x5 goal setting system. Just give it a shot. Go to 3x5goals.com. And everything is outlined there. You just get some 3x5 cards. I'll show you exactly how I do it. It's very simple and very easy. I'd love your thoughts. Please comment below. Please share. Follow me on Facebook and subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. And let me know what your thoughts are on systems and habits versus goals. Does one replace the other? And if so, what is your justification? Or how do you justify getting rid of goals entirely and only going off of habits as a way of achieving success in your life? Love to hear it.